The next technique we're going to be demonstrating is a lymphatic drainage technique. So this can be applied to any region of the body where you're trying to remove excess swelling. In particular, this could be used for corky or hematoma or lymphedema type symptoms. For this technique, we're going to use 2 strips of 10 centimetre grip-it tape. I've pre-cut one already, and I'll show you and demonstrate the second strip. So we'll need both strips cut to the same length. And I've done it reasonably long to cover the bulk of the thigh for this technique, but this could be applied to anywhere over the body depending on where your swelling is. So again, you'll need to fold in half to save a little bit of time. We can actually round the corners together. And for this technique, you'll need to have your tape folded in half, and we're going to cut strips along the tape. So for this particular one, I've allowed for 5 strips, so we'll keep that fairly even, making sure that you don't cut to the full length of the tape, leaving about 5 centimetres that you're going to use to apply to the actual skin. So nice straight lengths there. And then when you open it out, you've got the little fan strips. Okay, now the easiest way to apply this is to actually tear the tape through the backing paper along the 5 centimetre strip length so that your little tentacles of tape still have the backing paper attached. Just means that it's not going to get stuck to the skin while you apply it. And then same at the other end. Just keeps it a little bit neater and easier to work with then. So you can peel then the first 5 centimetre backing part off, and that can be applied to the skin with no stretch. For this technique, we're going to cover across the length of the thigh. So we're going to have one going in a 45-degree angle in this direction and one going in a 45-degree angle the opposite direction. So we just need to allow space for the tape to cover that area. So you'll just apply the tape to the skin, no stretch in this part, but we'll give it a little bit of a stretch so that we can cover down a bit further along the thigh, taking the backing paper off the other end and just applying that without any stretch to the skin. Okay, it now gives you these little tentacles free to work with without getting stuck to the skin. So you can peel those off, and what we're trying to achieve is to cover over the whole area that's affected by swelling. So if this was your corky or hematoma, you're trying to cover the whole area of bruising so that you can actually allow fluid movement underneath the surface of the skin. So just gently peel these off. This particular technique, you don't need stretch applied so much, it's more about the actual placement over the skin. So you just need to make sure that it's covering over the whole area and just really gentle stretch. So we'll do each little tentacle. And you can then manipulate and manoeuvre these exactly where you're wanting to cover them. So we basically end up with areas that are taped and untaped so that you get high and low pressure areas and hopefully encourage some fluid movement. So just do the same technique on the other tape, tearing both backing papers. Peeling off 1 5 centimetre, and we're going at the opposite 45-degree direction this time. Okay, and again you've got your tentacles free then to manoeuvre. It's okay if it flips over because you haven't stuck it down, so you can just replace that over to an area of skin that you're after. Now you can be quite creative with the pattern. If there's a particular area you're trying to reach, you can obviously stretch the tape to cover over those areas as well. You're just wanting to make sure that you evenly space the tentacles over the main area of swelling. There we go, lucky last. And just remember that the tape is heat activated, so if you give it a nice rub, that'll activate the tape and ensure that it sticks. So the player can then leave that on overnight or potentially over a few days and then peel it off, and you might find that you can actually reapply the tape again in the next couple of days in a different pattern area to help with fluid movement in other areas and to ensure all of the bruising has actually resolved.